But Heather, we want to turn to Revelation now.
Yes.
And in Revelation chapter 12, we know about the woman representing the church, but in verse 7, what's taking place here?
There's a war in heaven. I was going to call you James, and he's halfway around the world.
Well, he is. He's having a great time in the Middle East somewhere.
Neil, I know you, Neil.
I wish I was there.
Oh, me too. I was going to carry his bag, but he didn't need us. He needed us to stay back here. Revelation 12 and 7, and it says, a war broke out in heaven. Michael and his angels fought with the dragon, and the dragon and his angels fought.
So what's this war about?
It's about good and evil. It's about selfishness. It's about allegiance, choosing who you will serve. It's about the devil deciding he wanted to be at least equal with God or as God, which we can find in other areas of Scripture.
Which we'll look at in a minute.
But it's really about allegiance, who you will love and worship.
So Satan, for whatever reason, or Lucifer as his name was then, wasn't happy with his standing, and he wanted to be like God.
Yep.
Yeah.
And it talks about, you know, you can just imagine the devil there trying to corrupt everyone else, going around going, you know, God really isn't fair. He's not a fair God. He's not a mighty God. He's not a just God. And he sort of tries to take the focus away from God. So if he's going around saying God's not all these amazing things, then he's trying to say that he is these amazing things. And it actually talks about it in Isaiah chapter 14, 12 to 15, where Satan's there talking and he's saying, I'll go up to heaven and set my throne above God's stars. I'll sit on the mountain far away in the north where the gods assemble. I'll go over the top of the clouds. I'll be the most high. So it's just...
Sounds like he's got a real case of itis, doesn't it?
Yeah.
You know, where he's just really just focused in on himself all the time.
Yep, definitely.
Yeah. Okay. And why do you think he became so self-focused? Because he would have been a perfect being when he was created, wouldn't he?
Well, we don't actually know. It's called a mystery. It doesn't make sense. How could you live in the face of God and become evil? It doesn't make sense. And so the Bible calls it a mystery, but it says in Ezekiel 28, verses 12 to 17, that the covering cherub in the midst of God's very presence became evil.
So here he was. In fact, the passage in Ezekiel actually describes Lucifer as being this dazzlingly beautiful, with vocal cords that just resonate. So, you know, an incredible voice. And this dazzlingly beautiful being suddenly becomes self-focused, self-absorbed. And it says, until iniquity was found within. Yeah. Now, that's not something God put there, but it's something that just came.
It was a choice he made because he was a being that had been given choice.
So he made a choice, and he wanted to use that choice to take God's role. So here we've got an intelligent, created being using his power of choice to actually rebel against God's government and to actually accuse God of being all these nasty things.
Yes. And usually what you accuse someone else of is your own issues.
Yeah, okay, good point. And so that's what actually happens
yes,
here.
Yeah, absolutely. And see, the Bible actually warns us to stay alert and watch out for this great enemy because he's prowling around like a roaring lion. I'll try that again. He's actually prowling like a roaring lion, looking for whom he can devour. And that can be mentally, it can be physically. I mean...
So he's this vacuum cleaner.
Yes,
we're in the cage, and he's about to suck us up and wash us over and blow dry
throw us out.
And so there we are, life taken.
But if we look in scriptures like 1 Peter 5, 8 and 9, and 2 Corinthians 11 and 14, he can even disguise himself as an angel of light. In fact, that's how he initially came to Jesus. He looked quite all right. In that earlier scripture we talked about.
That's right, in Matthew 4.
Yes.
So here he is, this dazzling being, parading himself as an angel of light, deceiving people. In fact, the passage in Revelation says he deceives the whole world, and he's actually leading people down the garden path.
And he can actually deceive even people that are, if it's possible, he could deceive those that really know the Word. So we have to know the Word. We have to know the truth. Demons aren't little red men with you know,
with horns.
Yeah, and sticks.
Pitchforks.
That's it. I need more ginkgo. It's not kicking in yet.
We'll just blame it on cement truck.
All right.
But Sarah, there's more to this passage than that, isn't there, in Revelation?
Well, it doesn't end there. That's the best bit. You know, that Satan is going around corrupting everyone, and then Jesus wins. He throws him out. He gets kicked out. And so ultimately the victory belongs to God, definitely.
Because the kingdoms of this world become the kingdoms of his Christ, the scripture
Yes,
says.
yes.
And what a glorious thought that is, where suddenly events in this world are now turned around and they're forever changed. So if I get this right, Jesus is about, he's won the victory.
Yes.
And he's now come to show us, according to Scripture, what the Father is really like. So he's about showing us the true nature of God. Heather, just really quickly, Hollywood heroes today.
Yes, they tend to be somewhat violent, Neil, a lot of them, and Jesus was not violent. He didn't push his way. It says in Scripture that he wouldn't crush a weak reed and he wouldn't smoulder out a flickering flame.
So Jesus is so unlike any of these others that he just presents to us an amazing, different view.
Yes.